What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, and in today's video I apologize for not having my usual just like I'm on camera and discussing things with you guys. There's going to be some voiceover today, probably just going to throw some random gameplay on screen for you guys just for visual purposes, whatever. But I wanted to talk to you guys about the upcoming hotfix, aka the next patch, new version coming to Tekken 8. So as you guys know, a few days ago we got the release of Eddie as well as a new patch, and some things were fixed and other things were broken, and yeah, basically long story short, after seeing the mess that they made, Namco and Tekken tweeted out that there would be a hotfix coming soon, or at least what we assumed would be a hotfix, and now we have confirmation that in fact it is a hotfix that is coming to the game. So on April 16th, there will be a new patch version 1.03.02 coming to the game that is bringing not very many changes, but some much needed changes. And you know, I'm not really sure what I'm titling this video, but it's probably going to be something along the lines of it's a start, because like this is cool, you know what I'm saying, but this is going to be the first of many more patches we're going to need to see to really get this game up to snuff. So right now I have the Bandai Namco website pulled up that they tweeted the link out to, and I'll just go ahead and read you guys what I'm seeing right here on screen. It says Tekken 8 patch notes 1.03.02. Fighters, patch 1.03.02 will be coming on April 16th, 2024. This update focuses on feature improvements, bug fixes, and balance changes for some character moves, and also brings new items to the Tekken shop. Gotta make sure that they throw in that Tekken shop, you know what I'm saying? All about that dollar bill, y'all. Anyway, so it has the schedule listed as well. You guys know we're gonna have those long maintenance times as always. Update contents. Feature improvements and bug fixes, properties and or behavior for select moves or select characters were adjusted. New items added to the Tekken shop, and it looks like there's going to be some avatar skins and 7 characters, whatever. Cool. So first thing on the list, the starting rank for the playable character Eddie Gordo in online modes will be matched with existing characters. As you all know, I'm one of the people who was outspoken on this and went on record to say that it's very stupid and surely had to be an oversight that Eddie Gordo starts off at beginner rank as opposed to your skilled rank that all your other characters that you don't normally play are. So you guys know how the system goes. If you play, let's say, Kazuya, right, and you get Kazuya up to like Raijin rank, then all your other characters are going to be like start at like Gairyu rank, right? But with Eddie, that wasn't really the case. He started off at beginner. It's good that they are fixing this, and hopefully this is the you know, the way it goes for every future DLC character. It is a little bit too late, I would say, for Eddie, because you've already had him terrorizing all the lower level players by players of my level or higher have to start down there. Like I said, I went on like a 30 game win streak. I've seen other people go on like 30, 40, 50 plus game win streaks. I saw one player in particular won 100 games straight and ranked. Yeah, it was definitely a mistake having Eddie start at beginner, but it is what it is. At least they fixed that, and then hopefully that won't be an issue with future characters. Next change. In addition, several other feature improvements and bug fixes have been made. Behavior / properties of moves will be adjusted for some characters. And there's not very many notes here, but we can go ahead and take a look at them, and I'll probably have some excerpts on screen for you guys as I go through these. But the first one is common, the Rage Art and Heat Burst. Fixed an issue where in specific situations, opponents were able to move during the time freeze animation for the activation of Rage Arts or Heat Bursts. If you saw the video that I made, how long ago was it now? I want to say about a week ago, where I was like, they really screwed up. I talked about a lot of the issues that existed within the game as it came to, as it pertained to gameplay and mechanics and the systems and everything like that. And one of the bugs that stemmed from this recent patch was that if you were to do something like a crouch grab at the start of somebody's like Rage Art activation, you could move around during that Rage Art, and you could actually even like, you know, get behind them and like the Rage Art whiff and punish them. It's really weird. It's really funky. I showed some examples of that in the video. I might have one on screen for you guys now. But either way, yeah, so that is something that is apparently being fixed in the upcoming patch. I actually didn't know that this applied to Heat Burst as well, but hey, now you know. Good thing it's being fixed though. Next, Tornado. In version 1.03.01, adjustments were made to the collision detection between characters and walls to address the issue of slipping through opponents and whiffing when performing a Rage Art after executing a tornado near a wall. However, as a result, certain existing combos became inconsistent. Therefore, we have reverted this adjustment. I am actually really impressed with this, okay? Now, I don't want to give them too much credit for doing something that they're supposed to do, right? But this is actually something that's a big surprise and very uncommon, in my opinion, in fighting games. I've been around for a minute, you know, so I'm not the most well-versed or well-experienced fighting game player for sure, but I played my fair share of games, and I've experienced many different patches for many different games. And seldom do we actually see developers just completely walk back a change. The first example that comes to mind is Dragon Ball FighterZ, right? Early on in Dragon Ball FighterZ lifespan, Super Saiyan Goku became a very popular, very commonly used character. Not only because he's Goku, he's the main character, he's the poster boy, and he's pretty easy to pick up and use, and anybody can use him, but he also was pretty strong. Not like overly so, but a very strong character who served as a very powerful anchor. If you were around back then, you know what I'm talking about, right? You saw Goku a lot at anchor. And one of the best tools that Super Saiyan Goku had was his 2M, his crouching medium kick. And now this was a pretty good normal, but it wasn't anything insane. It had good range, good frame data. It was a pretty good hitbox, but it wasn't anything absurd, okay? But we as a community made jokes about 2M-ku. That's what we called him as a meme, right? And eventually they nerfed Goku by snapping his legs and like drastically nerfing his 2M when it really wasn't called for or necessary. And the entire community cried out. We were like, no, we were just joking. Like, you didn't have to do that. Like, this character did not need to be nerfed. Like, nobody actually thought, like, he was good, but he wasn't like top 3 or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a solid character, and no one actually thought that 2M needed to be nerfed. It was just funny to joke about because it was a really good button. And they nerfed it, and we were all like, change it back, change it back, change it back, and they never did. And eventually they did buff it to him more than once, I want to say, but they never made it quite as good as it was. And it's like, dog, we honestly just want you to change it back to the exact way that it was. But developers can oftentimes be stubborn, and that was also, you know, Bandai Namco. Granted, that was also Arxis, but, you know, I don't really know who had the overall say-so in that. But the point of the matter is, I've seen many changes happen in games where people are like, you know, honestly, we don't think that needed to be changed, and they just never revert it. So the fact that they're just completely reverting a change that they made and just kind of admitting, hey, like, we screwed up, we're just going to change it back to the way it was, like, I'm happy to see that. And I hope more developers like take that, you know, like are like, hey, like, it's okay to admit that you were wrong, or that you made a mistake, or that maybe this adjustment that you made wasn't really for the best, and let's just go ahead and change it back to the way that it was. I think if they were less prideful and more willing to do that more often, things would just be better for everybody. But that's just me. That being said, the tornado issues, people are gonna get their combos back. You know what I'm saying? The inconsistencies shouldn't be as inconsistent as they were now, and things are should be a lot better for everybody. Moving on, we have some adjustments to Azucena. So as you guys know, in the recent patch, they actually nerfed her while running 3-2, and basically what they did is made it so that's easier to step, and also they made it less active, on top of the fact that the 2 will not come out if the 3 whiffs. The problem that this introduced is that Azucena will oftentimes end up flying way past you and recovers too quickly for you to be able to punish her consistently, and some characters struggle to do it at all. Because the 2 is kind of like where the tracking was and where the homing was. So without that, she doesn't really like stay near you and actually goes pretty far away. And basically to circumvent that, well, I'll just read to you the patch note here. As a countermeasure against this attack, we initially implemented balancing adjustments in version 1.03.01 with the assumption of evading sideways and then counterattacking. However, due to the current difficulty in executing counterattacks, we have made the following additional adjustments. The recovery frames have been increased by 5 frames, and the forward movement distance after the end of the attack duration has been reduced. So they increase the amount of recovery on the move when it whiffs, and then they also made it so that she doesn't go nearly as far away, so making that if you properly sidestep this move, you are actually able to land a punish. Now, only time will tell how badly of a nerf that is. Like, that does sound like a pretty drastic change. That does sound like it's going to be significantly easier to sidestep and punish. I'm kind of the opinion that you could have just done one or the other. I don't know. Like, you're definitely going to feel it if that move whiffs for sure. But the move is still really strong as it was, so maybe this was needed. I was of the opinion that even though I like and play the character a little bit here and there, that it definitely needed to be toned down. I actually watched FDX's video talking about this whole patch and everything like that. Now, I believe I heard him say that he kind of wishes they would have just reverted it, but I don't agree with that one. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Do you guys remember Leroy Japan? So, for those of you who weren't around during Tekken 7 and like in the middle of his lifespan, I guess I'll say, at some point, what was it, like late 2019, early 2020, Leroy was introduced as a DLC character in Tekken 7. His trailer was really dope. The music was hype. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was really excited. He seemed like a really cool design, a dope aesthetic. We were all gung-ho, like, oh my God, this character is sick. Little did we know the terror that was about to be released upon us, as Leroy quickly ended up becoming probably the most powerful and most broken character in Tekken 7. Evo Japan was coming up early 2020, and long story short, top 8 at Evo Japan had 6 Leroys. 6 of them. It was a nightmare. I'm sure you've heard of Leroy Japan, but that's basically what happened if you didn't really know the story. And I bring this up and talk to you about this because I'm of the firm opinion and belief that Evo Japan this year would have probably been like 6 Azucenas if she was not toned down. I think that move and that character was that powerful. And like, you know, there's been a decent amount of variety around, but I just feel like in a setting like that with stakes that high and that big of an event, I think a lot of players would have just been like, all right, bro, I'm just going to play Azucena. She's been very powerful since the release of the game, since the beta of the game, honestly. She's seeing a lot of play in Europe. She's seeing a decent amount of play in Asia. There are some experimentation and obviously, you know, players trying to use the characters that they normally play or that they like more. But we've seen Azucena quite a bit in some of these online events, I would say. And we've seen like Ulsan and Jun Ding and some other players having a lot of success with her. Now, there's some other very powerful characters as well. I actually am kind of the opinion that Dragonov is even better than Azucena, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of him. But something about her really appeals to the European and like a lot of the Korean and players, and it just seemed like we would have saw a lot of her. You know, that may or may not have been the case, and I guess because of these changes, we'll never really know for sure. But yeah, I am in favor of the nerf to that move because it was just too strong. It was just too strong. That said, I am very, very excited for Evo Japan, and I cannot wait to see how that top 8 shapes up. I'll definitely be watching that event. I'm not going to be at the event myself, so I'll definitely be streaming that, by the way, if you want to catch me live on the Twitch channel or at the YouTube channel, because I'll probably be multi-streaming whenever that does go down. But definitely watching all of the Tekken 8 action 100%. I don't remember the last time I've been this excited to watch a Tekken event. Because like as much as I love Tekken 7, oh man, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. But yeah, moving on, we have a few more notes to mention before we get up out of here. And these last ones are adjustments to Eddie and Zafina. First up, Eddie, his heat dash. The ability to activate heat dash despite whiffing in specific circumstances has been corrected, and the behavior of the opponent when heat dash is activated under certain circumstances and deviated from expectations has been corrected. Yeah, there are a couple little bugs with Eddie, him being able to heat dash when he shouldn't, and then it just they're fixing it. Then we also have Eddie's dash and back dash. The input window has been adjusted to mitigate the occurrence of unintended dashes or back dashes. Yeah, Eddie's kind of bugged right now with his dash, where you can kind of get like a pseudo Korean backdash by doing like back and then forward. It's really weird. It's just, yeah, it's obviously unintended, and I believe that they're fixing that. And then with Zafina, speaking of backdashes, due to animation data changes, backdash distance was shorter than expected, so this was reverted to its version 1.02.01 state. I'm not really sure how that ended up happening anyway, and honestly, that's just kind of the tagline for that previous patch. It's just like, how did this happen? You know, the current patch just kind of feels like they just didn't really test it thoroughly or test it much at all, if I'm being honest, and I just don't really understand how some of this stuff made it through QA. And again, like I'm trying really hard because like I genuinely really like this game, bro. I think it's a lot of fun. I've been having a great time. I'm still playing basically every single day, and you know, I'm trying to believe in the optimism and like how great this game can be and the potential of it and everything. But it's just like, just some of the stuff that happened, like the rage art thing, like Zafina's backdash, just certain things. I'm just like, oh, did y'all test this? Like, how did this make it past? Like, I'm saying, like, I get it. We're basically playing the arcade version. The game's gonna take some time to you know, reach its final form and live up to the potential that I believe that it has. But it's just like, okay, let's just treat this with as much tender love and care as we possibly can. All right, Namco, you know what I'm saying? I like the game, and I want everybody else to like the game too, and y'all got to make it easy for people to like the game. You know what I'm saying? But with that, that's basically gonna do it. No need to drag this video out too much longer. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of notes here. That is basically the end of them, and this patch will be releasing in just a few days. So no other like major adjustments, because obviously Evo Japan is coming up. You don't want to do any more major adjustments before the big event, and there will be a patch following Evo Japan coming in May. I don't believe we have an exact release date for that, but there should be much bigger changes to the game, whether it's the system mechanics or to the power of characters leading you know, going into that. But time will tell. We'll see when we see, and I'll see you guys soon. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay tuned for all this content I'm bringing you. With all that being said, it's been off today, and remember, nothing can happen until you swing the bat. Later.